Welcome home, and this is Noontime LALATE. Breaking news overnight as Chuck Schumer wins an incredible ruling. A major win for reconciliation, as Chuck Schumer now has not one, but several reconciliations to do throughout the year. And this would mean stimulus checks continuing throughout the rest of this year. Your $1,400 third stimulus check will be landing tomorrow, especially if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. But you could be seeing multiple stimulus checks for the rest of the year. Of all the big breaking developing news forwarding right now, because forced stimulus suddenly has the incredible push of multiple stimulus checks. How did this suddenly become a reality overnight? I have all those details. Meantime, the president's about to address the American people live. We'll be cutting into that live broadcast. We'll also be going over the big numbers for reoccurring stimulus checks and how those children's checks could be coming across the board. A real big day across the land. Let's get to it as Noontime LA kicks its feet up, starting right now. Good noontime, everybody. Look at these numbers. These are the incredible numbers after your $14 third stimulus check lands tomorrow that all eyes will be on, because away we go to fourth stimulus. Third stimulus checks will be landing tomorrow, April 7th, in your direct deposit account or in the mail today as well. But away we go right into fourth stimulus. And these are the incredible numbers that could be paying you checks every single month for the rest of this year. I'll have all this big breaking developing news happening right now on a big morning. I'm really excited for you. Thank you for joining me on Noontime's LALATE. How are you? It is a big day with a lot of breaking news. That was not me as the Easter Bunny at the White House yesterday. But I appreciate your thoughts and wishes, and maybe it was Nancy. But the hairstyle for the Easter Bunny was a little bit too good, so probably wasn't Nancy. I'm about to cut into the president about to address the American people. He's about to go live. He's about to go live for about the last 3 hours. So I'm not quite sure what minute he's about to go live, but he's about to go live, sometime in the next 20th century. There's Canuti Smith for a dancing pear or dancing hippo. AJ Dark says, my Direct Express card is pending for tomorrow morning. I'm so excited. Thank you, Canuti, which I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Canuti with the dancing pear. It's a dancing pear. And in the spirit of home, yes, Home LA, which was your favorite show in fall of last year, I'm bringing it back in full force. We're going to be talking later about this video about hair. Nancy, feel the jealousy kick in. Later this video, I'm going to be going over the hair products that you need to consider using to make sure that you keep your skin working in the right direction, not working in Mitch's direction. Also, I'll be going over why it's important to keep your skin moisturized, especially if it's cracking every time you're around Chuck. I'll be explaining all those details later in this video. We're going to be having a lot of fun. This is Home, your midday, lighthearted, easy breezy broadcast, and today it's a little bit more easy breezy than ever, as we saw that Easter Bunny, which I don't know. Between you and I, that Easter Bunny video from the White House was a little bit scary. Drop in the comments if you watched that Easter Bunny video on Mornings LA. What did you think about it? Because I thought it was a little weird. It was weird, like Mitch weird, like Mitch Purple Hands weird. It was it was that level of weirdness when I watched that Easter Bunny video. But in a second, the president will be addressing the American people. I'm really excited for you, and away we go. There's Debbie in the room, and there's Norma, and Amanda, and Linda, and AJ Dark. My friend got his paper check before I got my payment, and there's Sonia. This is the big, exciting, great news. It's these numbers, and these numbers do not lie. When you look at the amount of money at issue, it's this. One of the videos earlier today, someone asked me, is that for individuals? Yes. So when you're looking at these numbers, you're looking at monthly stimulus checks for individuals. Individuals are anyone who makes less than $75,000. anyone who's a child dependent, anyone who's an adult dependent. Family of four, which I guess I need to do another graphic for you. A family of four could see $8,000 a month if it's $2,000 a month stimulus checks. Under the current stimulus package, the $1,400 third stimulus check landing tomorrow is a family of four at $1,400. So that's the maximum threshold of the number of household individuals. All these income qualifications and these thresholds will stay the same under forced stimulus with multiple stimulus checks. We don't know the amount of the check, but we know everything else. Number one, we know they want to do it until the end of this year. Number two, they want to do it monthly. Number three, they want those checks to be paid out the same way as the current third stimulus checks. So the income thresholds would be the same, and the number of people in the household will be the same. So husband and wife, you could see $4,000 a month, potentially. Husband and wife with two kids, you could see $8,000 a month, potentially. This is for all individuals who make less than $75,000. That's been the threshold for these stimulus checks for a while. And away we go. This is huge, big news, and I see a lot of people in the room. There's Trina, and there's Nancy, and there's Christine. There's Kathy and Bonnie. How are you? And there is Debbie as well. Pronounced with a K, not a separate E. It says, Canute. Canute Smith. I appreciate that. And as soon as the president goes live, I will cut into that video happening right across the board. But let me explain to you what happened yesterday. The president of the United States won a major victory overnight. And that victory no one saw coming. I didn't see it coming. It was proposed by Chuck Schumer quietly. And that shocking recon win was the following, that Chuck Schumer now has several recons he can do. These are the recons he can do. He has done the third stimulus, which was using an unused 2020 recon ticket. Well, he had one recon ticket available for the spring of this year and one recon ticket for the fall of this year. But now he approached the Senate parliamentarian in the last few days, as I had told you, asking the Senate parliamentarian if he can do the fourth stimulus by revising the third stimulus. And the Senate parliamentarian said yes. This is a shocking developing detail. So if you look at the chart here, Schumer can do fourth stimulus right now, and then he can do fifth stimulus also in the next few weeks before we go into the August recess. And then September, he can do sixth stimulus. He could basically blanket the entire year in stimulus relief. It's incredibly shocking developing details. No one really saw this coming, and certainly the president must not have thought this coming either. The president of the United States is about to address the American people, but boy, the developing details about this fourth stimulus MSC are now a reality. Here are the items at play for multiple stimulus checks that you need to know. First, multiple stimulus checks are dependent upon the bill being done by reconciliation. If the bill is done by bipartisanship, no one in the Republican group is going to give you a stimulus check. They actually spoke on Friday. Mitch McConnell spoke on Friday, and Kevin McCarthy, who's head of the Republicans in the House, spoke also on Friday. They said they're going to pose this bill, and they're going to pose it for many reasons before we even get to a stimulus check. So one, you want the bill to go by reconciliation. Number two, you want the bill to go as fast as possible. Why? Because the jobs numbers. The American economy is rebounding across the board. Earlier today, I detailed what's happening in Vegas. Vegas, they're seeing a major jump. And they're expecting for fiscal 2021, for example, that losses will be narrowed to 1.92 a share from 3.94 a share for MGM properties. Travel and leisure is through the roof. 250,000 new jobs created last month, and that was just in March. And those numbers could even be bigger in the month of April. You want this bill in the Senate as soon as possible before those jobs are restored to the American economy. The next thing that's happening is, of course, the issue of the corporate tax rate, which is really not much of a worry, I don't believe. This is my opinion of the situation. Joe Manchin issued this news statement yesterday that he's not happy with the president's 28%, but will do 25%. Well, that's only 3% difference. Fine, give him the 3%. Big deal. Away we go and we're done. Here's what you need to know. The current tax bracket for corporate taxes is 21%. It was currently 33% before Trump came in, and then lowered to 21. Biden wants to raise it to 28. Manchin says too high, but Trump was too low. I'll put you at 25, says Manchin. Good. Call it a day. We're done. I like that approach rather than what the Treasury Secretary and the President spoke about yesterday, which is dragging this out and asking foreign leaders to change their corporate rate. We don't have time for that, nor do we have time for the President to go live. Mr. President, can you go live? We're live here. We want to see you. Let's push for forced stimulus, says Brandon Spencer. Absolutely. There's Pam Gianzano. Hey, how are you? You can't get a stimulus check without a Social Security number. There is someone sent in the chat just a second ago. Let me jump into the chat right now. For veterans, Daniel said veterans aren't getting stimulus checks. Oh, that's not true. I have veterans pending for for stimulus checks for Wednesday. Congratulations to my veterans who disproved the notion that veterans won't get stimulus checks for months. First of all, I've had veterans get stimulus checks week 1, week 2, and week 3, all the prior waves of the stimulus rounds. They got those stimulus checks by veterans on March 17th and March 24th. They got it on 31st. But the great news is I have some veterans pending for checks next week. So veterans, you don't have to wait. That is great news. That's for Comerica card, Direct Express card. This is also for big bank customers. But Helen Davis, absolutely. Helen Davis just said, push, push, push for MSC and forced stimulus. Tweet the congressional members. Absolutely. This is what you need to know. You need to take this video and share it on social media, Twitter. Tag the Democratic senators and say, get this bill out. Here are all the concerns. The concerns are, one, the president tries to do it by bipartisanship. That will implode MSC because Republicans won't give you even a single stimulus check, let alone MSC. Number 2, you don't want the bill to take too long because the economy will rebound and the jobs will be restored, and Democrats could get cold feet and say, the jobs are restored. Why do we need stimulus anymore? And finally, 3, the obvious situation, which is every month is another stimulus check. You want those stimulus checks to land as quickly as possible. In some of the comments, people were saying to me yesterday, when do you think the first check could go out? Well, in this graphic, I'm using July. Now, let's say the check goes out in August. That's still fine for purpose of getting to the finish line. But you don't want the first check to go out in September because the bill may implode by August. You want this bill signed into law as soon as possible. And yes, every month a check is missing if it takes an extra month to get this done. Bonnie Cal says, hashtag all the Democrats, MSC, FPUC retro, student loan debt forgiveness, push, push, push. Absolutely, Bonnie. Let's see some of the other comments that people are saying. I agree 100% with them. Jenny, tell them get that in or we're going to vote them out. That's a very good message. Let me jump into our to-do list. Our to-do list starts with this. This is not the totality of the to-do list. MSC, of course, is getting the biggest push by Democratic senators, 21 of 50. FPUC retro, less support. Ron Wyden, that Democrat, said that he would do an FPUC retro to cover you for that unpaid FPUC from last year if he got other Democrats on board. We haven't got to that yet. SSI reform. SSI reform could be done without a bill. COLA to CPIE, that could be done in 1 minute. Could be done by executive order. And changing the benchmarks or changing step-ups, that doesn't need a bill. Hazard pay, it needs a bill. The president promised hazard pay. And next, minimum wage. Also, student loan debt forgiveness, which the president in 2 weeks is going to determine whether he's going to do it by executive order. But if you have this bill, he could also do it by bill. The president actually says he wants to do student loan debt forgiveness by bill, although he doesn't agree upon the amount of money. He wants to do it by bill. Pounce, 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 Purple Hawk, says Bonnie. Absolutely. I want to be able to go out tomorrow. That would be nice, says Michael Moreno. Absolutely. Vanessa says, we've been struggling since last year. Let's get this done. Peter, thanks for letting me know. Absolutely. Here's what you need to know for tomorrow. For tomorrow, I've already seen some of the comments by viewers who say they're going to get up at 12:01 a.m. to see if that check lands. What you need to know is that most banks don't post deposits at 12:01. The president's about to go live, finally. Let's listen in and hear what he has to say.
What's your name? What's your name?
Sandra.
Sama?
Vanessa.
Hi, Cynthia. How are you? Is this where you're registered?
Yes, my register. Check them in.
And can they just show up to register? Or they have to need an appointment to come?
Yeah, they need to have an appointment. So we usually ask them for their license, their insurance card, and ask them what time they come in. You know, tell them how are you, be polite and everything, and just check them in and then sit them down.
And roughly how many people a day do you have come through? Any idea?
About 300 a day.
Pretty good.
And overall, we've done about 20,000,
Yeah.
5,000 a week at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We passed 150 million. Yesterday.
Oh, really? Wow,
Heading to 200 million in the first 100 days.
yeah.
So I'm keeping a secret. Everybody can hear me. So. Well, thank you. Thank what you're doing. Appreciate it.
Such an honor. Thank you. It's an honor to have you. Yes.
So
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. My name's
Good to
Kevin.
Oh, Kev, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better for seeing you guys.
So a key part with our registration here is it's very low technology barriers. So all of our patients we call directly to make sure they can get an appointment right away. If not, we text them all to make.
What you're watching is the President of the United States visiting a vaccination site. And of course, the vaccination site has gotten a White House backdrop on several walls. So it is a media opportunity, media photography event with the backdrop that appears on the wall, which would not normally be there. I'll keep that on the back until the president addresses the American people, if he does at all. But let me jump back into the live chat and go over what's going on right now. What's going on right now is that tomorrow, $14 third stimulus checks will be landing in millions of Americans' bank accounts. It's important to understand that those deposits will appear throughout the day. And so I want to make that message really loud and clear to viewers so you do not get alert or concerned that by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning you don't see something depositing. Banks release funds into accounts throughout the day, meaning they post or you see them available funds throughout the day. Generally, they do them by about noontime of the day. That is the most typical time frame. The most common time frame is about between the start of the day to around 12 noon, with the biggest population usually around 10 a.m., 9 a.m. So if you wake up at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow and don't show it pending, don't freak out. So I want to get that message out loud and clear now, so you understand how pending deposits occur. Second, it's also important to understand that the funds will be available for you at that date. So if you see those funds available, away you go. If you want the funds, you can take the funds out. If you're worried about the funds, if you're worried about an ex-husband, if you're worried about someone that is not a nice person around you, take the funds out and put it somewhere else. Put it in your pocket. Also, mail checks are landing today as well. They've been landing today. They were landing yesterday. Those March 26 checks are just taking a time, but they absolutely 100% are coming. Every day I have a viewer that says, LALATE, please tell people I got it today. Tell people to stay patient. It's coming. Those April 2nd to 8th checks from last week's wave are arriving now. And this week, if you do not show a pending deposit by the end of tomorrow or an available deposit, then understand you're likely a mail check coming later in the week. If you've gone to that IRS tool and you have had problems getting results from that IRS tool, let me cut to 3 tricks you can do with that IRS tool. The first trick is to type in the address in all capitals. That trick was provided to us by Margie 2 days ago, and it's worked for 80 to 90% of viewers. Again, type in your address in all capitals. Second trick, provided by AJ on Mornings at LALATE yesterday, and that works the following way. You go in there and type in your address according to the way it's typed in the most recent benefit statement you've gotten online or in the mail. Whether the abbreviation is the same, or the capitalization is the same, or the punctuation repeated verbatim. And finally, my hack is to repeat it the same way as your most recent tax return if you had a tax return. Go exactly verbatim, line by line. What you're watching is the President of the United States visiting a local vaccination site. It's a publicity event, and he's asking to speak to individuals and see how it's going. Let's listen just for a second.
About to graduate. One is in 11th grade.
Well, great.
I'm proud to be part of America.
You are America. You are America. America is a nation of immigrants. That's who we are. And by the way, the vice president's mother was from India.
Yeah, she's from India too.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see you all.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Man, you got biceps as big as my thighs, man. You're a big man. What's your name?
My name's Carl Allen.
But Carl, you probably came and wanted a shot, and Biden's holding you up here.
Yeah, no,
Getting
he
a
was getting ready
shot.
to raise me up, and I was getting ready to get the shot.
Well, it's great to see you all. I don't want to slow things up. You're doing the right thing. It's really important. And when you go back, when you go home, get all your friends, tell them, get a shot when they can. We're going to be able to do this. Everyone's going to be able to before the month is out, every age. So, and thank you guys very much.
And thank you.
Well, this is the guy. To be a good president, you got to be smart enough to hire people smarter than you. And that's what I did with Mr. Zients here. He handled the Ebola crisis, and we asked him to come in and do this. We have a full-blown staff, and he was able to get about 600 million doses of this ready, and we're going to keep going. Hopefully we're going to get good enough pretty soon where we have enough that we can give the rest of the world. It's because this is something that's not just, we can solve it here in America, we don't solve it around.
Let me cut back to what's happening tomorrow and all this week. $1,400 third stimulus checks will be landing tomorrow by direct deposit. It's important to understand that they'll be appearing throughout the day. If you go to that IRS tool, it doesn't have any information about you. Do not worry, because 50% of the viewers of this channel, the IRS tool doesn't work. It just shows up the money. Number two, if you use the 3 hacks and it doesn't work for you, don't worry as well. Finally, if you go to tomorrow and you don't see a deposit appear, then the deposit may be coming in the mail instead. Also, IRS is really ramping up a lot of fixes. Among the fixes is the $10,200. If you filed a tax return already and paid taxes on your first $10,200, they're asking you to wait because they're going to issue a refund in the month of May for any taxes you paid on your unemployment in 2020. Remember, your first $10,200 is tax-free. Number two, a new report out today from from a series of publications says you may want to have a tax preparer do an amended return to ask to have that money returned to ensure that the calculation is correct. Number three, there's a lot of other fixes you may need to do. If you're missing a stimulus check from the first or second stimulus round, or even from this one, a missing household member or such, you're going to have to do an amended return or file return if you haven't to request that missing stimulus check. It's important to do everything as one item. Why? Because I have a lot of viewers who are worried that they don't think that the IRS has on record their child. And that child money starts in the month of July. $3,600 in the month of July, pay $300 a month. If the child is 6 to newborn, if the child 5 to newborn. If the child is 17 to 6, $3,000, pay $250 a month starting in the month of July. You want to ensure that they have that information so you can get that money. Getting refunds, ensuring that SBA has everything about you, getting that child credit lined up is all important for purposes of third stimulus. And together as a family, we're going to stay there to ensure that you get that money across the board. But the big surprising detail is this fourth stimulus package. This fourth stimulus package came out of nowhere as Chuck Schumer won a major victory yesterday, able to now do a recon of a recon. He's able to do an amendment of your third stimulus package with another stimulus package. The Senate parliamentarian ruled yesterday. And that fourth stimulus package will have multiple stimulus checks in there. Series of Democrats have now pushed for those multiple stimulus checks. And Mitch McConnell is not one of them, but Chuck Schumer is. Added to the group, Ron Wyden, Bernie Sanders, also Elizabeth Warren. They want you to have those multiple stimulus checks, a check every month until the end of this year. And this is an enormous sum of money. Let's look at the money again. If you're an individual, these are your individual numbers, not household, not family. This is the individual number. If the amount that they choose is $2,000 a month, then you could be seeing $12,000. If the amount they choose is $1,400, you could be seeing $8,000. Diana's in the chat. Let me jump back into the live chat right now. Diana says, LA, thank you for keeping my anxiety down. I really appreciate it. Let me jump in and show you the video of the president still addressing the American people at a vaccination site. Let me see some more of the questions. Nothing in the IRS tool called back. They said the only way is if Bank America. So Kathy from Bank America posts the deposits on Wednesdays. So that is something to know. Bank America is one of the big banks, and they only post the deposits on Wednesday. Let me see more of the questions as well. If you have questions or comments, drop them in the comments right now. I'm in the live chat with you. Sandy says, my pastor says forced stimulus would bankrupt our country. Is that true? No. This country has a lot of money, and this country can afford a lot of money. In fact, Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, early in May of last year, in his own way of being polite, said that we were not spending enough on stimulus. He said that federal governments, foreign governments around the globe, are spending 30 to 50% of their GDP on stimulus, and that at that time we were spending about 15%. We're still even spending less because, each year the GDP continues to grow. So we have actually been at issue, according to the Federal Reserve, not spending enough money of our gross national product on stimulus. Great question. Let's listen into what's happening.
Yeah. We gave 4 million shots in one day.
Yeah.
4 million. Didn't start off that way.
And then the other thing is, you've heard of people having issues with technology and websites. So all the vaccinations we've done has been because someone from the clinic called a person, texted them, someone from their church called them, a nonprofit case manager called them, and it's that kind of outreach that you need to really ensure equity. And that's
you may remember when I indicated we were going to go to these clinics to go out and deal with your organizations and others like you. I was roundly criticized for doing that, as you recall. But you're the ones who reach out.
Yeah.
You're the one that knows everybody who is just technological. I think of my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom, who's passed away, but my mom was a very bright woman, and she was a wonderful lady. I was one of those guys that I won the gene lottery. Everybody wished my mom had been their mom.
Yeah.
Not a joke. And but my mom, her ability to use a computer or to use a telephone and to sign up, she would have been lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would have been lost. And like all of you, very bright person, but a lot of people just don't have that facility. They just aren't know how to do that. And so what do? They keep putting off and putting off and putting.
His message is very strong and very important. And it's not a subject I've touched on before on this channel. Here in Los Angeles County, it was really a mess to get a vaccination in February and March for seniors. There was no way and no how to figure out where and how to do it. It was technically, inherently very advanced. Obviously, I'm a technical person. I know how to do these type of things. For me, I thought it was insanely complicated. So what the president was referring to is absolutely correct. It was not an easy process to get a vaccination. Ultimately, I got vaccinated in February. Other people I'm around also got vaccinated in February. But it was very difficult. And even to this day, it's very difficult to get vaccinated in LA County or California because the systems are very complicated. It's not something a normal person would be able to figure out. Let's listen in more.
And almost everybody's within 5 miles of a pharmacy, but still, if you were my mom and she didn't have children, she wouldn't have 5 miles, might as well be 500 miles to get there. So and that's why you guys are the best. You reach out, you know where people live, you know the people, and getting the churches and the synagogues and the mosques engaged in doing this is really, really important.
And they've just been wonderful partners. I mean, when we reached out to them, we didn't know what type of response we would get, but they've been...
In the comments, one person just asked, what date are those March 26 checks coming? That's a great question. They're coming every day. So if you are a March 26 mail recipient, They're coming. Every single day they show up. Every day this week, every day last week they showed up. So if you're March 26th and you haven't gotten it, don't worry, it will show up.
And you got vaccinated. Someone who's afraid of it or worried about it,
That's right.
they go, you got it? It was okay? I mean, you think it's safe? Do you? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, and encourage them. Encourage them.
Yeah.
Because this is how we're going to beat this.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to beat this. We're now at what? 75% of people 65 and over have at least one shot. And the other thing I say to all of you, all of these new variants you hear about, you know.
John Hand just asked, do you think the multiple stimulus checks will happen? Yes, absolutely. John, the three factors that I think that could erode multiple stimulus checks are if the president does try to do the bill by Republican support, which I don't think he's getting at this point. So I don't think that's a worry. Number two, it takes too long and the economy rebounds. At the moment, we don't have that data suggesting that because the last jobs numbers in last Friday was 1 million jobs a month. We're 8 million missing. 8 months out from now, we're good. My concern is if the job numbers increase substantially and we show full restoration of jobs in 4 months, my concern is the bill gets to the Senate too late. So the only two worries are if the job numbers rebound too quickly or the president tries to do this by Republican support. Both of those scenarios don't seem to be formulating yet, but we have to hope that there's no change across the board. Valerie says, I got both vaccines. Congratulations. Let me cut back into more of the president's comments right now. If you have questions or comments, drop them in the comments and I'll cut in.
Not just folks here at the seminary, but all of you for doing this. It really matters. And guess what? You make your children very happy. You really do. How many times you get, Dad, you get your shot yet? Dad, get in the car with me. Where's Dad? We're going to go. And pretty soon, I'm going to announce that everybody over the age of 18 is just automatically able to show up. And that means that if you have someone home.
What he's about to say is what was announced on Mornings LA today, is the president will drop the eligibility to get a stimulus, to get a shot to age 18, April 19th. He's going to announce today, if he has not already, you heard it on Mornings LA, that by April 19th, all individuals who are of adult age in the United States can get a vaccination. I don't know why they didn't do this early on. The role, and they were asked this question, there wasn't a lot of clarity. He had tried May 1st. There was a whole waiting time to get elderly people vaccinated, which passed 2 months ago. So it's not quite clear why this delaying this issue for 18 years of old and older. Moreover, Dr. Walensky has made very clear that the reason why the virus continues to spread in 20-something states is because of young adults who have not been vaccinated. So this is the key demographic, the 18 to 30-year-olds who are not vaccinated, who are going to South Beach and partying up. Someone dropped into the comments just a second ago, what about the $1,700 of student loan debt of financial aid? For that, that's currently live. So there it is. Sarah, when will the student loan $1,700 be available? It may be available right now. So if you're a college student, you want to reach out to your financial advisor at college right now and ask them about the $1,700 under the third stimulus package that is available for you to get. Teresa, I got my vaccine today. One more to go. Hello, LA. Congratulations, Teresa. Everyone should get vaccinated. It's absolutely wonderful. It's effortless. You're done, and away you go. Let me jump back into the live comments and show you more about the president's comments. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll answer them.
What you're doing, and every time I'd walk out of my grandpa's house up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, his name was Ambrose Finnegan, and he'd say, Joey, keep the faith. And my grandmother would go, no, Joey, spread it. Spread it. So let's go spread the faith, okay? I'm holding you up. Get out of your hair. Where am I going? That way? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And keep using those dumbbells, will you? Thank you, man.
appreciative.
Oh, come on.
They've been doing incredible work.
And what you've been watching is the President of the United States visiting a vaccination site. It's actually interesting to see how tall the president is, taller than almost anyone in the room. Very interesting. Let's cut back to that forced stimulus and the big exciting news across the board. This is what the forced stimulus looks like right now. If they got this bill to the Senate and out the door, finished in June to December, if individuals in this country could see stimulus checks of 6 months. The amounts are not confirmed, but these are the possibilities. $1,400 for an individual or $2,000 for an individual every month. How would this fund and how would you get that dispersed? And someone just asked that question. I think that's what Ellen means. Let me explain the possibilities. I believe the possibility is to follow how Harris and Sanders envisioned this back in 2020. Their concept was very simple, which was send Americans a debit card, put on the debit card the stimulus check each month. So you don't have to wait for something in the mail. You don't have to track anything. Every month you just go to the card and bam, there's another check on the card. It's a little bit how like unemployment works. For example, in California, they have a sub-license with Bank America. So they send you a Bank America debit card. And as soon as that next deposit appears, it's right on the card. You get an alert, hi, there's an extra load of money on the check, on the card. That's likely the best way to get this done. And you certainly would want that, as viewers are asking, where's that March 26th mail check? Where is this check? You want things to come and land easy and breezy. Thank you for joining me on Noontime LA. The big updates, if you're just joining me, is that while there's a certain push about certain items in the forced stimulus package, like the corporate tax rate, it's not a big issue because the compromise is 3%, going from 28 to 25. No big deal. But the list, the to-do list, now seems like a potential reality with MSC at the top of the list. Why? Because Democrats have been pushing the president and now have the opportunity to get that done. Those Democrats have told the president that when the bill lands in the Senate, they're going to modify it and put multiple stimulus checks in there. But if you did not watch if you did not watch Mornings LA today, the breaking news was a major win by Chuck Schumer. That major recon win gave Chuck Schumer the opportunity to now do multiple reconciliation bills throughout the year. Those multiple reconciliation bills would mirror a path to get stimulus throughout nearly the whole rest of this year. Those multiple reconciliation bills look like this, and away we go. Meantime, how does one make their hair look good? Early in this broadcast, I said I would bring back the original core of home, which is the easy, breezy, lighthearted, and silliness that we like about how to keep the home organized, how to keep yourself looking good, and more. And with that, let me give some of that deliciousness right now. These are some of the 2 products that I recommend for hair. Of course, this is not a paid promotional product, and I'm not being paid to say this. I'm just giving you some advice. Certainly, when you're using products, you never want something that's sticky or stiff or hard. And what I like about this one, Garnier Fructis, is it really keeps your hair moisturized. It actually creates a moisture barrier when you put it in the hair. It only becomes stiff if you blow dry into the hair. It's called Sleek and Shine, and it's made with argan oil from Morocco. It really is oil, and so you feel the effect. I prefer washing your hair, drying it, or just towel dry, and then put this in before you style. Also, the way I recommend is brush, get the shape of the hair into position, and then bring this over. Use a little bit of time. I rub it in the hands and then apply it slowly. And if you need more, come back with some more. Here's another product. This product's a little bit different. This one is anti-humidity smoothing milk. The reason why I like this one is because this one really restores your hair to incredible softness. Now, sometimes you may not want to use this if you're going to film a show or you're going out on the town because it will make the hair limp. What I recommend for this is use this in the nighttime when you're just relaxing at home. Of course, you're not going to sleep in this because it does have a little bit of a sticky solution to it. But it really, really works. It restores that hair so it really, if it's dry and brittle, it'll feel like magic when you're done. Also, the same company has wonderful products for shampoo and conditioner. Finally, this is another product to consider, which is great. Some people have very dry skin. And no matter what they do to moisturize the skin and create a moisture barrier, it still feels dry. Here's an example. It's dry, you apply something, and it doesn't really grab to the skin. What's going on? You need to put more oil into the skin. Aquaphor is a great product, and Aquaphor starts with basically a texture of like a Vaseline. Put it over the skin, let it sit for a couple hours or a little while, and then wash it off. It's very oily. It's very sticky, but I gotta tell you, do this 1 or 2 or 3 times. Do it 1 time per day for 1 to 3 days. And after that, you're going to feel the oils back in the skin. And then anything you put on top of it will grab and really work wonderfully. This has an immediate reaction. So doing it 1 time may be the trick. And try it 2 or 3 days, and then away you go. I'm glad that you joined me on Noontime LA and Home. Home is back, baby, and thank you for bringing my home into your home. I'm back with you more as Noontime LA continues in just a little bit. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Let's do 2,000-3,000 likes. Thank you for joining me for that live broadcast you watch as the president visited a vaccination site. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll be back in just a little bit as Noontime LA continues.